Welcome to the results video for Moreno vs Albazi, where we will find out which UFC prediction channels were the most profitable and had the highest correct pick percentage for this event. But as always, we start with the total numbers for this event and compare the Oddsmakers versus the Tapology community versus the YouTube prediction channels. On this card there were a total of 13 fights. I tracked 72 prediction channels and those 72 channels made a total of 895 predictions. So on average each channel made predictions for 12.4 fights. Out of the 895 predictions, 568 were correct for 63.5% and 327 were incorrect for 36.5%. Who was the best at predicting the winner for each fight? The Oddsmakers, the Tapology community or the YouTube prediction channels? The favorite fighter in odds by the bookmakers won 11 out of 13 fights. And on this card 2 underdogs won, which were Dustin Stoltzfus with plus 200 in odds and he won against Marc-André Barrier, and Branson Ribeiro with plus 140 in odds who won against João Machado. And betting on the favorite fighter in odds this week was very profitable. If you placed a $100 bet on all 13 fights on the favorite fighter, you could have won $404 for a return of investment of 31.1%. The favorite in picks by the Tapology community won 10 out of 13 fights. And if you placed a $100 bet on all the favorites in picks by the Tapology community, you could have won $318 for a 24.5% return of investment. The favorite fighters in picks by the YouTube prediction channels won only 9 out of 13 times. And if you placed a $100 bet on the favorite fighters in picks by the YouTube prediction channels, you would have only won $121 for a 9.3% return of investment. So, in conclusion, the Oddsmakers were the best at predicting the winner of each fight. Now, let's compare the individual YouTube channels and find out which one came out on top and which didn't. For the least and most correct picks, we will only look at channels that made predictions on at least 50% of all the fights. So in this case, a minimum of 7 fights. At number 4 this week for least correct picks, we have the Fight Fairy and Coach from Premium Picks. Both had 6 out of their 10 predictions correct for a correct pick percentage of 60%. In third place for least correct picks, we have these 13 channels. All 13 of these channels had 7 correct picks out of their 13 for a 53.8% correct pick percentage. By the way, these results are in alphabetical order, in the case when channels have the same results. And for second least correct picks this week, we have these 8 channels. All 8 of them had 6 out of the 13 predictions correct for a 46.2% correct pick percentage. And the channel with the least correct predictions this week was Sean from the Running Mouth MMA show. He had 4 predictions correct out of his 13 for a correct pick percentage of 30.8%. Now let's find out which channels had the most correct picks this week. At number 5 we have A-Train from Premium Picks and R Parks. Both had 9 out of their 12 predictions correct for a 75% correct pick percentage. In fourth place for most correct picks we have these 8 channels. All 8 of them had 10 out of 13 predictions correct for 76.9% correct pick percentage. In third place is Spotsbook Killaz. He made 10 predictions for the winner of the fight and 8 of them were correct for a correct pick percentage of 80%. If you enjoy the content and find it helpful and informative, then don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much. In second place we have MMA Lewis, the MMA GURU and UFConsultant. All 3 of them had 11 out of 13 correct for a correct pick percentage of 84.6%. And in number 1 this week for the most correct picks we have Kunath. He made 13 predictions and 12 of them were correct for a 92.3% correct pick percentage. So congratulations to Kunath for having the highest correct pick percentage this week, and congrats to all the channels who also had a high correct pick percentage. And here is the overview of all the channels that I've tracked this week with their correct picks, their total picks and the correct pick percentage. For this next part of most unprofitable and profitable predictors, we include all picks that a channel has made and that you place a $100 bet on each pick a channel made, even if according to the channel it's a very low confidence pick or they don't like the odds. To calculate these results, we use the odds from the tail of the tape. Which channels could have lost you the most money if you followed all of their picks and placed a $100 bet on each pick for the outcome of the fight? At number 8 this week for most unprofitable predictor, we have the MMA Prediction Guru. Following all of his picks could have lost you $328 for a minus 25.3% return of investment. In 7th place is MMA Play 365. If you followed all of his 13 predictions, you could have lost $384 for a minus 29.6% return of investment. In 6th place, with a loss of $1 more, we have MMA Lock of the Night, with a loss of $385 and a return of investment of minus 29.6% over his 13 predictions. In 5th place, we have Drywall. Following all of his 13 predictions, could have lost you $394 for a minus 30.3% ROI. In 4th place, we have Ben Duffy from Sherdock.com. He also made 13 predictions and following all of them could have lost you $426 for a minus 32.8% return of investment. And the 3rd most unprofitable predictor this week was the Finch Chats. Following all of his picks and placing a $100 bet on each of them for the outcome of the fight could have lost you $429 for a minus 33% return of investment. In 2nd place for most unprofitable predictors this week, we have Aside MMA and DFS by the numbers. Both channels had made the exact same predictions. And if you followed all 13 picks from one of these two channels, you could have lost a total of $446 for a return of investment of minus 34.3%. And in number 1 this week for the most unprofitable predictor with a much higher loss, we have Sean from the Running Mouth MMA Show. If you followed all of his 13 predictions and placed a $100 bet on each of them for the outcome of the fight, you could have lost $734 for a return of investment of minus 56.5%. Which channels had the most profitable picks this week? At number 9 we have Lightning MMA and Once Upon a Slugfest. Both these channels made the exact same predictions, and if you followed one of them, you could have won $318 for a 24.5% return of investment. At number 8 we have MMA Addict. He also made 13 predictions for a profit of $322 for a return of investment of 24.8%. At number 7 we have Left Lane MMA. He made 13 predictions and following all of them could have won you $333 for a 25.6% return of investment. And at number 5 we have Clenbat. Following all of his 13 picks for the outcome of the fight and placing a $100 bet on each of them, you could have won $342 for a return of investment of 26.3%. At number 4 we have BetSam, with a profit of $463 for a return of investment of 35.6% over his 13 predictions. And in 3rd place with a little bit more profit we have MMA Lewis and the MMA Guru. They both made the exact same 13 predictions, and by following the predictions of one of these channels you could have won $472 for a return of investment of 36.3%. And in 2nd place for the most profitable predictor this week, we have UFConsultant, or is it UFCconsultant? Anyway, following all of his 13 predictions and placing a $100 bet for the outcome of each fight, could have won you $617 for a very nice return of investment of 47.5%. And number 1 this week for the most profitable predictor is of course Kunath, who also had the highest correct pick percentage. Following all of his picks could have won you $764 for a really good return of investment of 58.8%. So again, congratulations to Kunath for being the most profitable predictor and having the highest correct pick percentage this week. And of course, also congratulations to the rest of the channels who had a great performance this week. For all the channels that had the best performances this week, you can find links to them in the video description below. Don't forget to check out these channels. And here is the overview of all the channels with their money won or lost and their return of investment. That was it for this week's results video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Don't forget to like this video or subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to see some more results, check out my 5 months results video to find out which channels had the highest correct pick percentage and were the most profitable over the last 5 months. A link to that video should be on screen now, or you can find a link in the video description. Thank you all for watching, have a great week and see you in the next video.